Right now, I want to get real, because I found out earlier this week that two of my closest friends have passed on, and it shook me. It shook me down to my core. In fact, I think it shook our entire community down to its core. And when these dark days come, sometimes we end up with the word why just burned onto our hearts. We want to cry out to God with, why has this had to happen? And we don't know the answer. And in fact, I've had some people come to me before suffering, and I made the mistake of trying to explain to them why. And there's a lot of really good theological reasons that I can tell you, and there's a lot of really good logical reasons I can tell you, and sadly, there's a lot of lies that are kind of tied in with these reasons that people give us. But here's the truth. I think right now, if Jesus were to come down and sit right next to me and explain to me in incredible detail the exact intricacies of why the why has to happen, why the world works the way the world does, and why everything happens the way it does, because he knows. But to be honest, if he did that, the only thing that's going to bring me even one tiny bit of peace is knowing that Jesus cares enough to come down and talk to me. And he does. But when he does, it's never about why, because we don't really want the answer. And that's the truth here today, guys. We don't want to know why. We need to concentrate on who. Who is the one that has enough power to get us through what we have to go through? Who is the one that understands our suffering, and who is the one that will never ever leave us and who will always be with us? Because sometimes we're asking why do I feel so lonely and powerless? And that's the truth of what it really is. And Jesus, he answers this for us. He lets us know what we can do because he understands suffering more than anyone else. And he was at a place in his life where all of his friends were going to desert him. And one of his friends was going to betray him, and he was going to be led off to die horribly for us in his innocence. And this is what he says. See, we find in John 16 it says, "But the time is coming, indeed it is here now, when you will be scattered, each going his own way, leaving me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth we will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world." Jesus has overcome all of it. He has the power, and he will always be with us. And that's what we got to hold to. Knowing why doesn't help, but knowing Jesus is there helps immensely. It gives us incredible peace when we know that he's right here with us, because that's what we really need, because we can't change the past. But we can find the light for the future. And we can find how to take the loved ones we've lost, or the situations that drag us down, or sometimes even the people that are causing opposition against us. And in our suffering, we can find a way to find his victory and move forward in his light and make a difference. And that's what we got to look for today, is we got to look forward and try and make the best with it. And we do it through Jesus Christ. See, when we're looking for a song for our suffering, a lot of people, they turn to Psalm 23, and that's a beautiful psalm. And it speaks to the fact that Jesus is with us always. In the darkest valleys, we walk with him, and he's there with us and will lead us and change so much of our sorrow into joy. But I tell you, we got to look at Psalm 22 first. David wrote that, and he understood suffering, and he tried to write out what suffering looks like. David, he takes time and he points out what true suffering is, and this is what it says. It says in verse 1, my God, why have you abandoned me?" In verse 7, he says, "Everyone who sees me mocks me. They sneer and shake their hands, saying, 'Is this the one who relies on the Lord? Then let the Lord save him.'" In 14, it says, "My life is poured out like water." In 16, "They have pierced my hands and my feet." 18, "They divide my garments amongst themselves and throw dice for my clothing." This was not about David, but David didn't realize it. And that's the truth. Our suffering can't be stuck on us. We got to realize that it's about Jesus, because Jesus is there for us in that suffering. And when we stop looking at ourselves and start looking to him, we find his victory, because he suffered so that we could have peace, and knowing that there's going to be a time when all tears are wiped away. And when we come to him, he's there for us now. He's there for us right now to help us move forward and not be caught up in the past. In fact, at the end of this song, it says, "Our children will also serve him. Future generations will hear about the wonders of the Lord. His righteous acts will be told to those who are not yet born. They will hear about everything he has done." Let's hear about the wonderful things He's done. Let's take our whys and turn them into whos, knowing that we can have peace as we walk with Jesus and look to the future. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, push the like button. You can subscribe or share it with a friend, and I'll be back next week. But for now, we're either living in love or we're living a lie.